So here we are at a bit of a cloudy day today. Nevertheless, we have the best camera smartphones from Vivo and Xiaomi here. The Vivo X90 Pro Plus versus the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, and you can see both feature a quadruple camera setup with the 1-inch main sensor IMX989 and a telezoom lens 2 times on the Vivo, 3 and 3.2 times on the Xiaomi, and 5 times on the Xiaomi, and I think it is 3.5 times on the Vivo, as well as ultra wide angles. Here you can see all the specs, and then also the front facing videos as well. And I think front facing cameras as well. We start off with the front facing cameras. So we start off with the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, 1080p 60 frames per second on the front facing camera, which is, I think, nice, but yeah, for a super flagship I would expect 4K 30, and as you can see here, probably the stabilization is not so well. Is there even a stabilization? I don't even think that there's a stabilization on this mode, which is quite a bummer, I would say. I'm not moving so fast, I have my dog with me, but nevertheless I think it is quite bumpy. What do you think about the front facing camera of the Vivo X90 Pro Plus? So this is now the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, and this one has 1080p 60 frames per second, which is stabilized, which is better than the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, but still a bummer for a super flagship device. What do you think about this one here? It has good quality for 1080p, but still something that should not be there for a super flagship device. What do you think? Write it down in the comments. So now I'm recording with the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, and this is the 1-inch main camera sensor, 4K 30 frames per second that I'm recording here because I'm working with a 30 frames per second timeline here. And yes, I could do 4K 60 frames per second as well. I think even 8K on this device, but what do you think about this one? And during recording 4K 30, I can also switch to the ultra wide angle if I want to. So I have a zoom slider here. I can switch to the ultra wide angle, 0.6 times magnification. What do you think about the ultra wide angle here? How good is the HDR? How good is the stabilization? And so on this device. And we will also perform a little zoom test when I reach one very interesting spot there for zooming. And now 4K 30 on the 1-inch camera sensor on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. What do you think about this one here? It can also record up to 8K, I think 24 frames per second here, if I'm not completely mistaken. What do you think about the Xiaomi 13 Ultra? And of course, during recording 4K 30, I have the possibility to go to the ultra wide angle. So let's do this quickly. I have also a zoom slider here and can go to 0.5 time magnification. So we have a bit of a wider angle of view here. What do you think about this one here on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra? So here now the zoom on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. We have the 2 times zoom lens here. You can see it's cropping in a little bit only. Now let's go and zoom in a little bit. 3.5 times its rich lenses, and we can do some zoom tests. We can go maximum, I think, 10 times here, maybe a bit more. So reached 10 times now here. 4K 30 recording with the 3.5 time lens that it uses here on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. Now we start off at 2 times zoom as well. So this is not a dedicated zoom lens on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, but a crop on the main sensor here that it offers for 2 times zoom, and we can zoom in a little bit more, and it switches to the 3.2 times lens, and then at 5 times it should switch to the 5 times lens. You can see quite a jump in the exposure, and we can zoom beyond 10 times here up to 15 times. You can see even people walking or cycling on the bridge, which is quite nice. And now let's go back to 10 times. So this is 10 times. And how does it compare to the Vivo X90 Pro Plus? I think the Xiaomi 13 Ultra is a bit better here. Of course, we have many different modes here on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra and the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. But what I want to show you right now, or what I want to demonstrate to you, is the internal microphone. It's a bit windy here right now. What do you think about the internal microphones of the Vivo X90 Pro Plus? One of the weak points of the Xiaomi 13 Pro was the non-existent wind reduction during video recording. How does it work with the Xiaomi 13 Ultra here now using the internal microphones? Do we have a wind reduction mode on this one? How does the audio sound in comparison with the Vivo X90 Pro Plus? What do you think? Here we have the photos of this very interesting camera comparison. Xiaomi 13 Ultra always on the left, Vivo X90 Pro Plus always on the right. We start off with the macro shots. Both utilize the ultra wide angle for this. You can see a brighter exposure on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus already and a bit more contrasty look on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. And what we can see also, both should focus actually on this here, but both out of focus. And yeah, it looks to be the Vivo X90 Pro Plus was focusing on the back. But here it's a bit unsharp on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, so I think it's focusing on the front. Both very comparable, I would say. Yeah, equally good in terms of sharpness. Colors, I would prefer the Xiaomi 13 Ultra slightly a bit better than in terms of macro photography, but I would say macro photography both on par. When it comes to 3.2 times versus 3.5 times zoom, so both utilizing the zoom lens. The Vivo X90 Pro Plus also has a 2 times zoom, but I was like skipping this here for now. Let's check out which one is doing better. First of all, we have brighter exposure again on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus for some reason. Size colors enabled on Vivo X90 Pro Plus, Xiaomi 13 Ultra, Leica Authentic. We have a bit more realistic look on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra in terms of colors here. It's not so overblown as on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. The shadows there may be a little bit too much on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, but definitely better on than on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus overexposure. And we have a bee or wasp here that is also flying around. I took multiple shots here, and the Xiaomi 13 Ultra always nailed and had the wasp or bee in focus, where the Vivo X90 Pro Plus always had some kind of misfocus. Or it looks to be not really as sharp as on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, which is quite interesting. And when we zoom in even more, like 10 times now on a bumblebee that I found here, we can see again, despite like having something like the object here in front of me, the bumblebee is sharp on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra at 10 times. And we have a bit of artifacts going on already, a bit noise creeping in, sharpness creeping in for sure. And yeah, the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, not really sharp, and nothing is really sharp there, where the Xiaomi 13 Ultra keeps it a little bit more sharp. Here everything is a little bit blurry on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, so I think it has something to do with the 5 times optical zoom on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Just cropping into 10 times is still better than the Vivo X90 Pro Plus 3.5 times zoom there. And even I took another shot here. I managed on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus to get a slightly sharper shot there as I had before, but still the rest is a little bit blurrier. So yeah, when it comes to the reach of the zoom, Xiaomi 13 Ultra wins slightly against the Vivo X90 Pro Plus when it comes to zooming. But let's take a look at the 2 times zoom. 2 times zoom of the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is mainly used for portraits. I did not have any time for taking a portrait shot. What I want to show you right now is like the color difference. We have much more bluer colors on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, much warmer, more greenish, more yellowish kind of colors on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, more realistic colors actually on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, because it was like this kind of sun setting event where everything is a bit more warmer and not so cool as on Vivo X90 Pro Plus. Vivo X90 Pro Plus 2 times zoom is much sharper, much more contrasty than the Xiaomi 13 Ultra's 3.2 times zoom for sure. Let's compare 3.5 versus 3.2 times here. Also, it appears to be a little bit sharper on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. Very interesting. So for far away subjects or objects, the Vivo X90 Pro Plus tends to keep it a little bit more real. Maybe also a bit thanks to the processing that it has here, a little bit more 5 times zoom. The whole thing switches a little bit, because here I think the Xiaomi 13 Ultra is doing a little bit better there, because it's a native optical 5 times zoom, but the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is doing a very nice job as well, especially for just crop-in sensor kind of zoom here. We see some artifacts, we see some over sharpening for sure, where the Xiaomi 13 Ultra keeps it a bit more real, more realistic there. 10 times zoom shows now the differences here, especially the more realistic kind of colors on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, and also less processing, where the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is also exaggerating some of the details here thanks to processing, which looks a little bit artificial. Xiaomi 13 Ultra looks more like an optical zoom, so I would prefer the Xiaomi 13 Ultra here, and the same goes like when you go 30 times zoom. It appears to be sharper and more clear on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, but just simply if you zoom in, you can see how much processed this looks like, and how much more natural kind of zoom the Xiaomi 13 Ultra looks like, even though it is also a little bit processed for sure. So yeah, I prefer the Xiaomi 13 Ultra when it comes to zoom. From the near zoom 3.2 times on to the farthest zoom 10 times, I would prefer using both of them still nicely. I prefer the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. It's only by a small margin, but the Xiaomi 13 Ultra is better than Vivo X90 Pro Plus when it comes to zooming. When it comes to the main camera shot and shutter speed, especially for dogs, kids, everyone that's running around and you want to have fast shutter speed, the Xiaomi 13 Ultra is winning against the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. That always somehow, maybe it's like the face detection that the Xiaomi 13 Ultra has. It's also detecting like the face, at least on the dog here. And I have always a nice sharp shot on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, where the Vivo X90 Pro Plus missed it a little bit too much for me. When it's static, both doing a fine job. This is a portrait now with the main camera sensor, without portrait mode, just being close enough to the dog, and you can see both doing a fine job, both same kind of sharpness there. Looks a little, appears to be a little bit sharper, a little bit more zoomed in on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, more yellowish kind of colors again on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus for some reason, and the Xiaomi 13 Ultra a bit more like realistic kind of colors, because yeah, it doesn't look so yellowish, my dog there. It has white fur and not yellowish kind of fur, though it's going maybe towards a little bit magenta greenish kind of look on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. You decide here, but especially the background here, much realistic on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. And for some reason, even with size colors, the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is a bit unrealistic there in terms of colors. A bit, I don't know, too warm kind of colors. Now to the real portrait mode, using the 2x zoom, it's 2x crops on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. It's a 2x optical zoom on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, and I think both doing a fine job. You can see little details there, here as well. And here is where I don't see much of a difference between them. I would even argue in this particular shot that I have the Xiaomi 13 Ultra is a tad sharper even than the Vivo X90 Pro Plus for some reason. So maybe it's the softness in general that the Vivo X90 Pro Plus adds when you go into portrait mode. I don't know why the Vivo X90 Pro Plus has a dedicated 2x zoom lens. I don't find it so practical. I think a crop on the main sensor would have been enough, and then adding more reach to the zoom would help here. But what do you think about the portrait modes? We have different effects for portrait modes here, and you can switch between them. I think the Vivo X90 Pro Plus still has a little bit of issues here with the portrait mode there. The Xiaomi 13 Ultra is not really 100% better there, but it's like a lot better most of the time. And yeah, we can get this kind of shot here as well. And you can see again the Vivo struggles again with the hair, because it's like adding a bit too much blur maybe into, where the Xiaomi is like keeping it a bit more real there with the blur, and yeah, adding not too much blur. So yes, portrait lenses, portrait shots, Xiaomi 13 Ultra wins here as well with better cutouts, and yeah, I like it better. The Xiaomi 13 Ultra portraits just look better, not only for dogs, also for human subjects and so on. They just did not want to appear on YouTube. Nighttime shots, very interesting, because when you come to low light, again the Vivo X90 Pro Plus tends towards the same we see later in the daylight, overexposure, a little bit too bright kind of shot. I'm not sure why it brightened everything up here in comparison to Xiaomi 13 Ultra, which looks a bit more realistic. Also you can see, yeah, the colors are more realistic, a bit more details there. It's a bit too bright on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. I'm not sure why. And some little details are missing there as well. Like here the cap, the little rails in the cap are just visible on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, and here not so much. And it looks also that the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is doing some processing here on the text, where it keeps it real on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. So there's some weird stuff going on in lower light situations, where the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is brightening things a little bit too much up. But when it comes to ultra low light, the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is adding tons of contrast for some reason. I'm not sure why it added so much contrast in here in this shot. But it appears to be sharper on the foreground, because it was focusing on the foreground. Here it's a bit soft, but the rest is sharp, where here it is soft, which is quite interesting. So we can see the little details here, the wrench, which is like a little bit blurry here, and also the details here in the background are not there. We have a bit of more greenish kind of tint here, maybe a bit more magenta warmish kind of tint. This appears to be sharper because it's also a bit further in the foreground, which is quite interesting. When I go to night mode of the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, you can see how much it changed towards more the look of the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Though the light look, you can see again the sharpness is outstanding here. A bit too bluish, I would say, a tiny bit too bluish, because it's more towards this color here, the warmer color there on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. Xiaomi 13 Ultra, by the way, if I go to night mode, not much of a difference. You can see it's like the same kind of maybe greenish kind of look there, and yeah, more greenish kind of look here, also a bit greenish, tiny bit sharper, but the rest is a little bit unsharp there. So yeah, which one do you prefer? I think the sharpness is outstanding here on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus on the foreground here. I wish I could achieve this with the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, but I couldn't see the two, so I wasn't even tapped to focus because I couldn't see where I would tap to focus. So that's the thing. But you can see also here the green in the background, that's a tad unrealistic. They're a bit too cold on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, where here it's more realistic on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. So I would say on par, because both get the same kind of brightness there. Sharpness is outstanding on the X90 Pro Plus, but the colors are off. So yeah, it's an equal battle there for the nighttime. Portrait modes, selfie camera mode. First of all, portrait mode on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra looks like this. Overblown highlights, no HDR at all. When you go in here, very softer, less contrasty, not so realistic looking. Xiaomi 13 Ultra loses. But when you go to the normal photo mode, first of all, it's like zooming out a little bit more because of a wider angle field of view, and you don't have the softness anymore. And comparing it to the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, I even prefer the Xiaomi 13 Ultra because of the colors of my face. It's a bit too warm and red kind of dots everywhere, and more realistic here on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra for sure, even though I think a tad sharp on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. So which one do you prefer here? I would say it's equaling itself out there. I like that you have HDR effect on the portrait mode on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. So yeah, it's equaling itself out there in the front. I think front-facing camera almost the same, and no difference there at all. I think the major difference might be video mode, where I would give maybe Xiaomi a little bit more points there. Main camera sensor, insane HDR on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. You can see the sun there almost, which is quite nice. It's yellowish around there. Here it's like overblown. We have a bit of a casting here, you can see as well on the sun, but the whole casting is going on here, and this adds towards like the feeling that I have with the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. It's overexposing a little bit. Either it's like this cast, it's just it does not look as pleasant. Looks processed, it looks like not as good as the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Maybe the optics on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra are a bit better there, but the more contrasty look is, first of all, more realistic, and second of all, it just looks more pleasant, and here you can see it as well. So basically the main sensors are on par in terms of sharpness and detail levels, but colors, not so much blue on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, is more realistic. Vivo X90 Pro Plus is a tad too blue here, in my opinion, and a tad too overexposed in most of the shots with the main camera sensor and some of the other sensors as well. Let's go to the bokeh test here. The Vivo X90 Pro Plus wins. Could be one reason why it's so overexposed sometimes, because it has f1.8 instead of f1.9, which the Xiaomi 13 Ultra has. But yeah, they could compensate it a little bit in software there, but better bokeh balls on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. So I would give it overall still to the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, just because of the colors. I don't like the Vivo X90 Pro Plus colors so much, and the very strong HDR effect that we can also see here in the ultra wide angle test. We can see 14mm on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus versus 12mm on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Xiaomi 13 Ultra is very sharp towards the edges, both doing a fine job with HDR. The Vivo X90 Plus, again, insane in terms of HDR. So here I would give it like even good marks, better marks than the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. But colors, I have to just, it's a minus on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. Why is it so blue? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, the ultra wide angle this time around, very interesting, a bit brightened up again on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, a bit more darker, and also a bit cooler on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra for some reason. And yes, the Xiaomi 13 Ultra is more realistic in terms of colors again, which is quite interesting. You can see overblown highlights here. We don't have the overblown highlights here. It's keeping the highlights intact on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. So here, very interesting towards the edges especially. The Xiaomi 13 Ultra is wider with 12mm, but also sharper towards the edges. And overall, the color is also a bit more realistic than on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. So the overall winner in terms of ultra wide angle, I have to give it to the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. It's not by a lot, because sharpness is the same. It's like both very good ultra wide angles, but it's a bit wider on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, sharper, and I think the colors are more accurate again on the 13 Ultra. So I have to give it to the 13 Ultra there. So, Vivo X90 Pro Plus versus Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Here are the results that I took with them. And what is your opinion about them? Which one is better? I think the main camera sensor is almost on par, but I would give it for the glasses alone, I think a little bit to the Xiaomi here, even though I think that the high dynamic range is a bit better solved by Vivo. When it comes to the ultra-wide angle, is a bit wider on the Xiaomi, which is nice. I think maybe the Vivo is a bit sharper there. And what do you think about the zoom lenses? Write it down in the comment section. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time. Bye.